Hello everyone and welcome back to another Storytime video. And today I'm going to discuss my top 10 movies of all time. Now, I have, of course, talked about my top games of all times list a bunch. And I think later on this year I'm going to talk about it again. But regardless, today I'm going to share my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Now, kicking off at number 10, I have the movie Friday Night Lights. It is a really good football movie that I feel like you have to be a football fan in order to really appreciate. Whether it's the references or the subject material, I think that you have to be a football fan like myself in order to truly appreciate the movie. I think you can still like the movie and whatnot, regardless of whether you're a football fan or not. But it's like a car movie. I feel like you have to kind of be into cars to really appreciate fully a car movie. Um, so yeah, I'm not saying that you have to be a football fan in order to enjoy the movie, but in order to fully appreciate all the references and the subject material, I think that you have to be a football fan and understand the game to, of course, be able to pick up on the references. At number 9, I have Kindergarten Cop. Arnold Schwarzenegger did appear in other movies other than The Terminator, and this is one of those movies that he appeared in. This is a great movie. Schwarzenegger's character fills in as a substitute for this kindergarten class while he's investigating something as a cop and trying to figure out um you know he knows that one of these kids' dads, he's trying to catch him. So that's why he's subbing for this particular class. At number 8, I have Catch Me If You Can. Oh man, Tom Allen and Leonardo DiCaprio are just amazing in their roles in this movie. So, it's based on a true story where this kid, well, I don't mean to call him a kid, but he's basically 17, 18 when the movie starts off and kicks off. He figures out a way to forge all these checks, and Tom Hanks's character is part of the FBI, and they try to catch this person. Hence the title, Catch Me If You Can. At number 8, I have Silence of the Lambs. Now, this movie is really good, and I appreciate the psychological aspect of it. Hannibal Lecter is portrayed in this movie, and it's great. At times, it is a little hard to follow, I will admit, but it was still a very, very fun watch nonetheless. Seeing how it all ends, it's just, oh gosh, it's just amazing. And then, at number 7, or sorry, this is number 6. At number 6, I have Payback. this is kind of, I don't want to call it a mafia done wrong, but man, Porter in this movie, Porter is just so awesome. Porter gets betrayed by people who he thinks are his friends at first, and he is basically on this revenge tour. He is on this revenge tour, and my gosh, the stunts that he pulls and the lengths that he goes to, it's just amazing. Of course, I'm trying not to reveal too much about the movie so that hopefully you guys will watch each of these movies on your own, because I highly recommend them if you have 2-3 hours more in some cases on this list. But if you have a few free hours to watch some movies, I would recommend watching all of these. Okay, here's the top 5. At number 5, I have The Godfather. Of course, I know that a lot of people have this in their top movies list, and I'm no exception. But I don't care what other people's opinions are. Although they are all objectively correct in that this is one of the greatest movies of all time. Again, it is a little hard to keep track of, and the first time I have a funny little story about this movie. The first time I watched this movie, I was on the plane trip to Germany a few years ago when I went there. And uh I usually on an international flight I'll watch movies to kill the time. But it was so late in the day, at least according to my body clock, that I, like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way into the movie, I fell asleep, and so I missed about what I figured out later to be like 45 minutes of the back half of the movie. And of course, I've watched it since in its entirety, and I haven't fallen asleep for that. So, but yeah, the first time that I ever watched this movie, I fell asleep. And it's not because it was boring, and it was not because it's long, even though it's longer than Texas. It's longer than California. Um, but it's it's amazing how the mafia is portrayed and all that. Of course, they never referred in the movie to it being a mafia, but it was it was great. And um yeah, it was great. I have not seen the second one. I want to see the second one, but it's just so long. It's like 3.5 hours long. I could watch some of the movies on this list twice in their entirety by the time I get through The Godfather Part 2. Up next on this list is Office Space. As somebody that works in IT, I adore Office Space. I absolutely adore Office Space. If you work in IT and you have not seen Office Space, I do not know. Like if you work in IT and you have not seen the movie Office Space, after watching this video, stop what you're doing and give this a watch. It is amazing. The amount of references and the amount of the main character does not care, um, and just wants to do whatever he wants, it is just amazing. And of course, I know I've said that about a lot of movies, but the amount of IT references, apply what I said about Friday Night Lights, about being a fan, like a football fan, and needing to understand, or needing to be a football fan to understand the references. You need to be a tech person to understand all the references in Office Space. It is, it's so good. It's just, oh god, that's not like the IT Bible. But if you work in IT and you haven't seen this movie, if I haven't convinced you enough, there's a slow motion scene where the three main characters in this movie go out into the field. It's a slow motion scene where they just beat a printer for 10 to 15 seconds. That is one of the best 10 to 15 seconds of a movie that I have ever watched. It was pure eye candy as an IT person the first time I saw it. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. So, yeah, that is my favorite part of the movie. Up next at number 3 is Pulp Fiction. You can say whatever you want about Quentin Tarantino and him being obsessed with feet, but holy crap, this movie is good. It's great. Now, granted, the story is not told in order, so if you're somebody who the story has to be in order, otherwise it bothers you for whatever reason, you might not enjoy this movie, because this movie is not told in chronological order. But, um, and I'll say that over the last 30 plus years, this movie has been memed so much, or at least the parts that involve Samuel L. Jackson, Jules, and Vincent, that you might not remember or know that Bruce Willis was also in this movie and had his own sub story in there. But he does. I think Steve Buscemi's in it at some point. Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, he's the guy after when Butch is a kid, and the army. I don't know what his rank. They don't spend too much time on that scene, but whenever the guy from the army comes to tell Butch and Butch's mom that his dad died, I think that is Steve Buscemi. If memory serves, it is. Um, but yeah, there's just a lot of funny moments in there, and this is the movie out of this whole list that I have seen the most. I've seen this like 5 times, and it's partly because my dad loves to watch this a lot, and I love to enjoy a good movie with him. So I've watched this movie more times than any other movie that I've seen in my top 10. Heck, any movie that I've ever seen, I've watched this movie more than any other movie I've watched. Coming in at number 2, I have The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This is undoubtedly the best Western ever made. And I don't know what that says about Westerns or Hollywood or people that make movies, that a movie that came out in the late 60s is better than any other Western that has come after it. And by the way, fun fact, they had to dub over everybody's lines except for Clint Eastwood's because the movie was originally Italian. Yes, the movie was originally in Italian. They had to dub over everybody's lines except for Clint Eastwood's lines. But again, it was a very awesome movie. And like I said, you could say that about any movie on this list, but good. Good movie. Very good movie. And then coming in at number 1, I have the movie Spaceballs. Yes, I do have a little bit of shame saying that a movie that is basically a parody of Star Wars is number 1. However, there are so many jokes in that movie that aged well, and so many jokes that were very funny, that I spent like I don't know, like half the movie, well, actually, like a third of the movie, laughing. I spent a third of the movie laughing when I didn't have it paused because I was laughing so much. I was laughing for a third of the movie. It was that funny to me. Yes, I do love a little bit of what some people may refer to as low quality humor. I don't care. The merch booth on that one planet was absolutely hilarious. Oh, we'll see you again in Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money. They did that partly because they could not sell merch. So they decided to parody it in the movie. And that joke aged like fine wine. Spaceballs the flamethrower. Spaceballs the cereal box. Or Spaceballs the cereal. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the doll. It was just awesome. And again, just like Pulp Fiction, there's so many memes and jokes that spawned from this movie. Like, who is he? He's a bleep, sir. You know, it's just, oh god, it's just so good. And yes, I do have a little bit of shame putting it at number 1 because it is basically a shitpost before shitposts were a thing. I kept thinking throughout the movie that it was just one ginormous shitpost. But you know what? It's a shitpost that it turned out to be the greatest thing ever. They broke the fourth wall during the movie. There's just so much about the movie that it was just so good. I can't think of a single part that I did not like. I can't think of a single part in the movie that I did not like. I just can't. But yeah, John Candy was amazing as Barf. Um, so yeah. But yeah, those are my top 10 movies of all time list. Honorable mention, At 11 and 12 respectively goes to Terminator 2 and Shawshank Redemption, who of course barely missed out on the list. But yeah, that's my top 10 games. That's my top 10 movies of all time list. Comment down below what your favorite movie is, or 5 favorite, or 10 favorite, or whatever favorites you want to mention are. Um, because I'm curious. I'm curious to see what you guys think. But yeah, that will do it for me today. And CS guys, I do believe that will do it for this storytime video and Sonic storytime video. I will see you all later. Goodbye, guys. Thank you all for watching. And